Oh, the queen of I can do it all. That's who I used to be. I used to be confident, sexy, fast moving, and the life of the party. And then motherhood interrupted. Hi guys, welcome back to Motherhood Interrupted. I'm your host, Kimberly Levy. Today we're going to talk about how motherhood interrupts our identity as a person and as a woman. It's completely disorienting to become a mom. Anyone that's ever been a mom knows this. Now, today I'm going to talk to you about how to overcome the feelings of loss of identity. Now, many of you reflect back and longingly remember your old life, the life of just you and your husband, where you could travel, go out and party till all hours of the night, and basically just focus on you. Now, look, motherhood completely changes all of that. And so many times it's glorified. It's glorified in such a way that if you don't feel that pure joy, you're actually wondering, what's wrong with me? How come I'm feeling so down? Now, if that's you, you've come to the right place. I used to be hard charging, the queen of I can do it myself, hot, sexy, social. You know, some of us really were thriving before motherhood. And I always thought, okay, great, I'll have a baby and then I'm going to go right back to my old life. I don't know why I thought that, by the way. I know it sounds naive, but I had never been around any children before, anyone that had kids, frankly. So if there's anyone that understands the struggle and the hard adjustment into motherhood, it's me. So look, I think that there's definitely something to be said about hormones. That's the first thing we have to acknowledge. We can't have this discussion without talking about the fact that your hormones postpartum are no joke. So I was doing some research about this topic so that we could have a chat. And what I realized is that, or what I read, I'm going to actually read it to you guys. It says, right after giving birth, your estrogen and progesterone levels drop dramatically, which can contribute to the baby blues, mood swings, anxiety, sadness, or irritability, which resolve within a week or so of birth, or postpartum depression, similar symptoms that are more intense, last longer, and interfere with your overall happiness. And your daily function. So I'm reading this to you guys because I think that it's really not addressed enough. The fact that if you had a baby and you are not overjoyed, what is the first thing you do? You think, what is wrong with me? I'm not cut out for this. I shouldn't be a mom. I'm a bad mom. I never should have done this, etc., and all these horrible things. Let me tell you something. If I can come around and embrace motherhood, and if my sister can come around and embrace motherhood the way we both have, you can too. So if you're struggling many months out and you're still struggling with feelings of resenting your baby or anxiety or really negative feelings about being a mom, I would recommend that you go talk to your doctor, because I can't tell you how many women I know or have posted in our Facebook groups talking about how they needed some support. And there is no shame. If you feel like you are off and you are really, really struggling and you just cannot get out of that funk, I think it is very, very smart to just, tap your doctor and say, look, this is how I'm feeling. I've never had a baby before, or I've never felt like this before. I'm normally really happy and I'm just feeling really down. I'm really struggling, and be open and honest and ask for help, because there's no shame in that. The hormones are so powerful that they will take you down. So if there's some kind of imbalance, it's definitely something that you should be researching and advocating for yourself to get that support. And there's no shame in that. So anyway, if that's you, I say the first step is, raise your hand and ask for help. Go talk to your doctor if you're really struggling. Now, on a practical level, since I'm obviously not a doctor and I'm not a therapist or any of those things, I'm just another mom, but I am a mom of 3. So I would say that if you met me immediately after my first baby versus when you met me today, it's like a whole different person. I have completely gone through the largest identity shift of probably anybody I know. I went from all business, all party, all social, all fitness, all hardcore about myself to a completely different human. And I got to say that if your identity is shifting, embrace it. So when people struggle with who they are becoming, it's really uncomfortable and it's not pleasant usually. But I'll say this, I have become such a more compassionate human, and you are too. And becoming a mom and giving life to somebody else, you are transforming into a newer, better version of yourself. And I mean that in such a deep way. I mean, like, you have compassion and love in a way now that you could have never experienced. The depth of love of the human experience. You've become part of this beautiful, wonderful club, the Mom Club. And as you continue to meet people, as people, just even perfect strangers, meet you out on the streets, any mom is going to relate to you now. You've become a part of this sisterhood that you were never a part of before. You can now relate to a mom in her 70s, her 80s, her 90s, her 40s, her 50s. It doesn't matter the age. The Mom Club is real and it's strong, and only a mom understands. It's like your baby hazed the shit out of you, and now you've been inducted into the Mom Club. And let me tell you, the club's awesome because nobody's going to understand you now like another mom. And I got to say also, hats off to dads, because even little things like when you're walking down the street and you're walking into a Starbucks because you're exhausted and a man opens the door for you and your baby because you're pushing the stroller, that's a dad. That's a dad. And when you are struggling to grab your diaper bag and hold your baby and grab the baby bottle, and all of a sudden a perfect stranger reaches over and puts that bag on your shoulder or walks you to your car with the bag, and you look that woman in the eyes, you know she's a mom. So the Mom Club is real. So with your identity shift, I think that it's really important to really open your eyes and recognize that, look, all of our babies have hazed us. Every one of us, every single one of us has gone through childbirth and all the ups and downs with that, and the immediate coming home with a newborn and having no idea what to do with the baby. I don't care how much experience you've had with kids before, if you were a nanny for 25 years before, like when it's your baby, you've given birth and you are now responsible for a life, there is nothing more sacred and more crazy and powerful and anxiety inducing than that experience. Becoming a new mom is something we have all gone through, and it is no joke. And it's hard. It's the hardest time. I completely underestimated how hard it was going to be when I first had my baby. I had no idea how to even change a diaper. And I just had no idea what it was going to do. The fabric of who I become changed so dramatically. And I'll be honest with you guys, the first two babies, really the first baby, I'd say more than anything, I was still hanging on and clinging to the old version of me. I was still self-preserving that version of what I was before. And I did that by basically continuing on my work, living in the same apartment, and basically trying to change almost, nothing. And I wanted to really just have my baby and move on. And if that's you clinging on to the old version of you, I'm telling you now, as your baby gets older and starts to really become more of a personality and a human with his or her own needs, one, it's going to be so much better. But two, you're going to change with your baby, and it's going to be for the better. Now, look, there are so many women out there. They're usually grandmothers that just love the newborn stage because they forget about all the trauma. And anyone that's had a new baby, you are exhausted. You are so filled with anxiety. You don't even know what just happened to you in the first 3, 4, 5 months, maybe even 6 months. And I'll tell you this right now, if you're exhausted right now, you're not even fully functioning. I am 8 months postpartum finally, and I am just now starting to feel like myself. And this is my third baby. I almost said this is my first baby. This is my third baby. So I look at some women that have had to go back to work right away. Like my sister, she just went back to work 10 weeks postpartum. And I'm just like, she is in it right now. She is exhausted. She does not have her body back. She's still nursing. It's tough. She is spread way too thin. And let me tell you, if she was on the podcast right now, she would probably be sitting here saying that she loves her baby, but she's definitely not enthralled. Okay. But she has her first baby, her older son, Skylar, who's 2.5 years old, and you see her interacting with him now that they're out of the baby phase, and she is filled with so much love and joy when she's around her son. So if you are not enjoying this phase, your baby is going to change dramatically. My oldest baby is now 6 years old, and I feel like I talk to a mini adult. It's nothing like the baby phase. So if you are absolutely struggling and hating this phase, I assure you it's going to get better. And here's why. Your baby, first of all, when you're in the newborn phase, you are very isolated. You have pretty much no friends. And I mean, maybe unless you're in a community somehow that you are, I don't know, you're surrounded by people with babies and they're like on your street or something. But by and large, if you're in the first year of having a baby, and frankly, even the first maybe year and a half, your baby is very limiting. And I hope that doesn't sound bad, but it's the truth. A newborn baby is not social. They're not super fun. I mean, look, yes, they're super cute. I mean, I'm in love with baby London. Don't get me wrong. But as far as like, having fun with your baby and like real interaction, like that really doesn't come until the baby's matured a bit. So the first, couple of years is tough being a mom, especially if you're a new mommy. And it's really just not that fun, especially if you are just having these hormonal ups and downs, or if you're in a circumstance where you're financially strapped, or you're back to work really early, or you live somewhere that you hate or that is not conducive to having a baby and everything's stressful. Like, for example, we used to live in a condo in the city, and I remember feeling so stressed out about just having to go to like Ralph's across the street because, I'd have to get the baby all ready, which everyone that's had a baby knows that just simply going anywhere is ridiculously hard and stressful. And so it's one of those things where the second you get the baby all situated, they poop or they spit up, or all of a sudden they start losing it because they actually just ran into their nap time, etc. You guys understand. And I just remember being like, okay, I have to get the baby all strapped into the car seat and go down our elevator, climb into the car, battle with the cars around me because it was so congested in the city in Los Angeles where I live, and just trying to find parking and then getting the baby out of the car, and then, having enough space in the stroller cart because the baby couldn't sit up yet. And it just, and on, and then having to lug the groceries back with the baby. And it's a lot, dude. It's a lot, especially if you don't have help. And so anyway, what I'm saying is, look, if you're in that phase and you are not overjoyed about it, it's all good. It does not mean you're a bad mom. It means that you're in a really hard transition and that your baby's young and you're new to this and you're still figuring it out. Now, cut to a couple years later, my husband and I, after the second baby, I finally was like, okay, we need to get out of here because clearly this living situation, we've outgrown it and it's not working. As much as we did not want to move to the suburbs, we did. And I got to say, that was definitely the right move. Just changing our physical environment so that we had more space for our kids and it wasn't a battle to do every single little thing helped tremendously. And then the other thing that's really helpful is, even if you think it's cheesy, believe me, I thought it was so cheesy and now I totally don't. Going to a mommy group, if you can find some kind of group, even if it's for 1 hour, once a week, if you could find one group, let me tell you, revolutionary. It will change your entire experience as a parent. And it could even just be like a cute little music group. And when you go, talk to other moms. Ask them how they're doing. How was your morning? Share about how shitty your morning was or how rough of a night you just had. I guarantee you that mom is drowning just like you are. Their eyes will light up and they will start talking about how they can totally relate and their disaster. Okay. So look, if that's you and you're struggling with your first year or two of being a mom, I promise you it's temporary. I promise you. And if you miss your old life, that's also very, very normal. And here's another thing that I'm going to suggest. I would say that if you are really struggling and missing your old life, the first thing, like I said, is go out and join a mommy group and become friends with one person. That one friend can literally shape your entire next year. Just having one person in your same phase of having kids. And the second thing I'll say is try and find a babysitter and go to dinner with your husband. Okay, try and get some help so that you can do one thing for yourself, so that you can just feel that sense of yourself again and freedom, and take a deep breath and like unwind for just a little bit. Okay, spend the money, even if it's expensive, and go do something for yourself. Go get a massage, go get your nails done, and don't have mom guilt. Okay, it's super important that you experience some normalcy to keep yourself, feeling like yourself. And the other thing I'll say is after your first 1 to 2 years, you are in a totally different place. Once your kids are out in the world and you start interacting with other parents just by virtue of dropping off your child or attending a soccer game or any little activity that your child does is going to bring in other parents that are in your exact same phase of parenthood. And let me tell you something, when you start to get those kinds of friends, again, even if it is one friend, it will completely change your entire experience. You're going to go from feeling depressed and isolated to validated, understood, and not crazy anymore. I'm telling you right now, everything you're experiencing, as hard as it may be, mama, it is normal. I promise. And cut to now I have embraced motherhood and I've given up my corporate career and I've gone through so many changes, so many different changes and phases and self-discovery and hardships. And I have to say, I'm proud of the woman I am today. I am so glad. Yes, there's days where I long for having no children. Absolutely. That's just reality. But I'm experiencing life in such a different way now, and being able to relate to my kids and to see the way that they light up a room with their sweet smiles or their kindness or hearing their little giggles, like there's just nothing like that. There really isn't anything like it, and they will bring so much joy to you. And if you're not experiencing hardly any joy right now, again, talk to your doctor if you're really struggling, but also please go and try and put yourself out in the world and find people that have the same phase of having a baby as you. I promise you, having just that one mom friend or that one couple's friends will totally change your entire experience. And again, if you really need a break, take it and take it guilt-free, because it is important that you're happy and it is important that you feel like yourself. So with that, motherhood has definitely interrupted my life, honey, and I know it's interrupted yours, sis. That's why we're on this journey together, okay? I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I promise it's temporary and it will get better if you're struggling out there. And I know that this is just a phase that you're in that's a hard time, and that's okay. So if you're enjoying this podcast or you have any other tips as to how to pull yourself out of kind of this identity shift, then send me a DM at Kimberly Levy on Instagram and tag me if you want to do it publicly, and I can repost it or I can read some of your tips out loud on the next episode. But you have your safe space here. And motherhood definitely interrupted my identity, and I know it's interrupted yours. And I promise you're going to come out of it transformed and for the better, more human, more loving, more giving, more selfless, more compassionate. And just hang in there, sis. And if you're enjoying this, please share this with your friends or anyone you know that could benefit from the podcast. I don't make any money on the podcast. I would love to change that, by the way. It's just really quite a bit of work. And I'm literally doing this as Baby London naps. So with that, thank you guys so much for listening. And please rate this podcast 5 stars if it is helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, if you're enjoying it. And I will continue to provide you with all new episodes and fun topics, deep topics, silly topics, all the things. We're in this together. So thanks again for listening. All right, that is it for today. Now, as you know, some of our best conversations actually happen after the show. So I want you to find me on Instagram at Kimberly Lovey and let me know your thoughts about today's show. You can screenshot this episode and let us know what your biggest takeaway was and tag me at Kimberly Lovey and we can share it on our stories. I will see you again, same time, same place next week.
This is your before and after story, where your first steps towards a new life-changing career begin. Southeastern College can take you there. We offer in-demand hybrid and online programs with hands-on training, led by in-field career professionals, and career services to put you on the path to a rewarding and fulfilling future. This is where your transformation begins. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.